I am going to bring onto the red carpet Elizabeth Adams. Elizabeth, join me out here.
Hi, Angela.
Hello.
Good to see you.
Elizabeth is the author of Living with Momma, A Good Person's Guide to Caring for Adult Children, Aging Parents, and Ourselves. Elizabeth, tell us about this book and why you wrote it.
It's quite a mouthful, isn't it?
All those things.
All those things. This book is about a journey that we all are taking right now, specifically more the people in my generation who have baby boomer parents that are aging and adult children who are moving home all at the same time. Sometimes in shifts, sometimes not. And then how do you maintain a house that is peaceful and calm and actually someplace that you want to go home to, right? Instead of
Get yourself a separate apartment.
well, that's true too, but I don't have those financial resources. But yeah, how to enjoy your family on this journey that you really didn't plan on doing at all. Most of us didn't plan for this. And so now you've been handed this amazing journey. And now what do you do in it? Do you, sit on the side of the road and hope somebody comes and saves you? Or do you just jump in and really enjoy where you are?
I noticed your subtitle is A Good Person's Guide. What does a good person mean to you, and why did you put that word or phrase in your subtitle?
Well, the good person kept coming up to me because you're a really good person if you're willing to let people keep coming into your home. Because there is something special about being able to walk in your home and not have to clean it up because you left it clean. That's an amazing feeling. It may not sound like a big thing.
I have a 12-year-old, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah, to me it's a big thing, right? It's like Disneyland to me. And so when people start moving back home, you lose all of that. But I kept falling back into the same roles of being the good mom or the good daughter or the good sister or whatever else I needed to be. And these roles were multiplying. So what happens is I can't be good anymore. Instead, I'm doing so much, I'm tired, and I'm doing so much, I'm angry or snapping or not treating my children like they should be treated, which is like an adult, right? Nobody wants to be talked to like a 10-year-old. And if
Unless you're 10. And even
and you
then,
don't
maybe
want
not.
that.
That's true.
I had 3 daughters. They didn't ever want to be talked to like a 10-year-old. So how do you give these people the respect they deserve and respect yourself in return? And that doesn't mean you say yes. That means sometimes you can say no. And how do you do that? So that's what this is. That's what this journey is all about.
So powerful. Well, a lot of people, including Valerie from Texas, is asking about time commitment. What is the time commitment to write your book? And somebody else was asking, although I don't see it right now, but what about the time commitment when you have other obligations, like perhaps caring for children or parents or yourself?
Right.
So what was your time commitment like, and how did you balance that with your other, here it is, Kim from Michigan. How did you find the time to write while still balancing the rest of your responsibilities? And what's the time commitment to write from Valerie? Let's talk to Valerie and Kim. What did you do, and what's your thoughts on this?
Well, I say to Valerie and Kim, get a really good editor and a really good program like with you. Because in all honesty, I put everybody before myself. I always have, and that's the reason why I wrote this book, is so that I talk to myself a lot, so I'm not doing that all the time, right? That's who my innate nature is. That's a caring person. It just is. So I needed to use those skills for writing this book. And I was able to get that using this program, because I remember one time I went to you and I said, I can't get this thing. It won't come to me. And oh, girl, you took me into the closet and had a talk with me about how I need.
Did I tell you to step up?
Something like that. It was something like, your panties are in a wad, woman, fix it, right? And that's exactly what I needed to hear. Exactly what I needed to hear, because I was letting my fears and my innate core of, I really can't do that. I'm just a mom, or I'm just a pastor, it was getting in my way, and you helped me clear that blockage. So I suggest get a good coach.
And how much time did you spend? So you were in the writing program, which is about 9-10 weeks, and then about 8 to 9 weeks for editing. So it's been about 4.5 months. Of those 4.5 months, about how much time were you spending on your book? And did you have other responsibilities during that time, or have you been in a cabin in the woods in Maine?
Well, let's see. I have 3 children, 3 grandchildren, in-laws who have gone through surgery, a husband who travels all the time, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. Oh, and it's all celebrated at my house. Yeah, I think I had a few things on my plate.
I assume your staff of butlers and maids and cooks prepared all those meals.
Right. No, I'm trying to teach my golden retriever how to vacuum, but it's not working.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how did you do it? How did you fit the book in, and how much time did you spend, and how was it broken down?
I'm going to say the beginning parts were a good 4-hour chunks a day. They were for me because I had to get my mind there instead of my mind on my grocery to-do list, right? So I had to get my mind there. So about 4 hours a day is what I would say was my first commitment. And then when I got towards the end and it actually started looking like a book instead of just maybe 20 pages that might drift off somewhere in the wind, then I went a little heads down because I've never written a book. And I don't know how to do this kind of thing. So when the kids would go to bed or when people had been entertained enough, at 9 o'clock, I'd say goodbye and I'd go put my headphones on. I bought headphones to wear.
Great tip. Kim, Valerie, get headphones.
Because, and my family knew, don't approach mom unless you're bleeding when she's got her headphones on.
That's such a great, easy hack.
It was easy.
I mean, you don't even have to play anything in the headphones it's just like putting a sign up, not
Sometimes.
available for momming.
Sometimes, and most times I just put on calm music. That's all I did. Just got myself back into where I needed to be to write this.
So you mentioned something I hear a lot from people, which is I haven't written a book before. I don't know how to do this. What made you come work with us, and what made you think you could do it?
Well, my deepest core is to be a servant. As you know, I went back to school later, became a pastor, went to theological seminary and said, no, I'm a woman, but I can still preach. So I was able to do that, but my core brought me into the homeless ministry. And I was working in the homeless ministry in Atlanta, and I went from seeing young men who were the norm coming in to getting resources from me to it being families and moms and dads with children. And I was watching this demographic shift over the years where so many people were 1 or 2 paychecks away from being homeless. And this to me kind of like fulfilled that need for the people that the majority of those people had moved to a new town seeking jobs. I mean, they weren't lazy. They were working and they lost their job or someone got sick. And how do we help these people maybe start at home? How could I let my daughter come home and start a new job?
And was it that you were just inspired that even if maybe you didn't know how to do this, you were going to figure it out?
Oh, definitely. Absolutely. Because I was already one of those people that was sandwiched between everybody. And I started doing the research and, I went academic because that's where I go first. And then I went to the spiritual side. And there's a lot of good books on caring for aging people, but it's how to make decisions for them. I don't think that's where I was. I wasn't in that spot with my mother. I didn't want to make decisions for her. So I couldn't find anything that was really speaking to that, so I started doing a lot more research. And about 3 years of interviewing people and finding out what's working for you, what's not working for you, what do you do when you want to throw your kid out of a moving car? And these people were great. They just told me everything. They were so open and so sweet.
So Jen from Southern California asks, what was the most valuable information and experience you gained from writing your book with the Author Incubator?
The most valuable experience of writing this book.
You had 3 years of researching, not getting a book done.
Yes. Yeah. I would say the book isn't what I thought it was going to be. The book became what the book needed to become. And I've heard that so many times by so many authors. But this was a safe space for that book to come to life. And that's what I needed.
And I'm going to ask you one more from Ed from Parkton, Maryland, up the road from us. He said, did your book help you decide how to structure a program or offering?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm just now grabbing a hold of what that looks like, too. And even that looks different than what I thought it was going to be 8 weeks ago. So, yes, it gave me a good framework to be able to base whatever I was going to do.
Terrific. Well, let's show everyone your book. Here it is, Beautiful Like You. Living with Momma by Elizabeth Adams. It is a good person's guide to caring for adult children, aging parents, and ourselves. If that sounds like you or someone you know, we are looking for a few good people. So go ahead and download this book and share it with someone you love who you know is doing their best to be a good person and maybe needs a little help.
Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth.